now my problem is, where am I going to get one that big?
Well, and in that color.
Exactly. Hi there, and welcome to a special Canada Day episode of the Rural Juror Brewery Tour.
Well said.
Thanks. I'm Jay.
I'm Seth.
And today, we're going to do this whole theme around Canada because, you know, in Canada on July 1st, we celebrate 1867 when we were a constitutional monarchy, but then patriation didn't happen until 1982. So Canada's only been a country 38 years. Canada's even younger than you, and Canada's younger than your wife, but not by much. Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about Meech Lake.
That's not going to happen on this episode.
Okay.
If you don't know what Meech Lake is, it's okay, you don't need to.
It's just a lake.
Exactly. So today's beers of choice are going to be beers that we just chose specifically around the theme.
Of Canada.
Of Canada. And where else would you rather start when it comes to beer for Canada than one of the best-selling beers in Canada, MOLSON.CA.
Canadian. I am Canadian.
Well, if you're out of the country, you don't know that advertising campaign, which is about 15 years old now.
People still have those shirts.
They sure do. It doesn't mean that, well, shirts can last a long time.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah, depends on what you're doing with it, I suppose.
Yeah. Depends on what color it is.
Well, yeah. And where you get one that big.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So Molson Canadian is a light lager. We're looking at 5% alcohol even. The Molson factory is in Toronto, just on the west side of Toronto.
Well, in Ontario, yes.
Indeed, they have locations all over. Here in London, Ontario, we have the Labatt factory, so don't tell them that we're drinking this. So yeah, it's a golden color, very transparent. It looks very much like the beer that's used in our opening credits.
Yes.
Yeah, not much head here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Lots of banana on the nose.
Smells a little like bug repellent. Did you get that scent on the nose?
I don't.
Come on, smell it.
Tell
Tell me that doesn't remind you like muskal or something with DEET in it.
Something with
Come on, it smells a little like bug repellent.
I don't get that. I get
Yeah.
banana.
Do you really?
I really do.
Okay. Lucky you. I'm glad you get banana.
That's okay.
Do you get banana often?
No. Not usually.
Just checking.
No.
So this beer is not good. This beer is thin and wet and has only the slightest semblance of tasting like a beer. And I know we typically do craft beers here, but honestly, Canada Day, we couldn't not do Molson Canadian, although there are regrets, because this is not a good beer.
I've had a few.
Indeed you have. Yeah. A few regrets, not beers.
Not beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up drinking Molson Canadian. I grew up in the country. We drank Canadian, we drank OV, we drank all of those beers.
Is it because your dad bought all the beers?
No.
There was a bar in town that used to have your dad's beer night, where Old Vienna and Labatt 50 and all of the Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I like Pabst.
Well, you would, just because it's just so easy to drink, but
Yeah.
it's not a good beer, even though it won a Blue Ribbon.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes, it did win.
It won a Blue Ribbon,
Yes.
which is why they call it that. It used to be just Pabst Lager or whatever, and now it's
Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, PBR. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pabst is a funny word.
It's a name.
Well, yeah, but 3 consonants in a row.
Well, lots of German names have 3 consonants.
Dunkel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, you lost.
Yeah. There's a good reason for that.
Yeah. Oh.
So that was a good one.
Okay. So the next beer we're going to try is from Boshkung Brewing. It's called the North Country Kellerbier. And it's Keller, B-I-E-R, as in German.
Yep.
This is not Dunkel. This is very light. This is a nice amber lager.
So this has a slightly darker color than the Molson Canadian. It's a little bit cloudy, but not bad.
Lots of malts and
Oh yeah.
lots of malt on the nose.
I can smell. It's almost like fresh barley. Yeah.
Oh, it's a nice strong flavor. It's not weak at all. This is quite.
Oh yeah.
There's some
Very
bitter,
malty.
Yeah, there's a little bit of bitter in there. There's a little bit of that sort of molasses kind of taste.
I'm getting a little bit of that creamy mouthfeel too, which is surprising given that it's just a Kellerbier. But it sits in the mouth nicely. I mean, let's face it, anything after that Molson Canadian is going to taste good.
It's true, but I'm surprised actually at the amount of flavor that is in this one. Usually these I find don't have a whole lot of flavor. They have a good amount of flavor, but nothing too crazy. This has a lot of flavor.
Boshkung Brewing Company is a small batch brewery focused on cottage living, local fare, and great tasting beer.
Cottage fairs. I love cottage fairs.
F-A-R-E, so like the food.
Oh, like, so it's just like
Fair.
everyone is the same? Fair?
It's very fair in that regard. It's more like what you pay when you're on a toll highway. You have to
Oh.
pay, or when you get on the subway.
Yeah.
You pay a fare.
Well, it is fair.
It
It's
is.
not too expensive.
Well, that's fair, right?
That's right. It's fair.
Fair is fair.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay. So they like cottage fairs. So all the cottages are the same.
No, it's not like that at all.
Oh.
All the cottages are different. All the people are different. And cottage fare, I assume, refers to the type of food you eat at the cottage.
Just fair.
It's not unfair,
That's good.
although it is unfair that they have a cottage and I don't. I wish I had a friend that had a cottage and they could invite me up to their cottage and I could like spend time at their cottage. It'd be nice to have a friend who had a cottage.
I don't have a cottage. I don't.
I thought you did.
No, I don't
What
have
the hell do you call the cabin that the family has?
the cabin? That's a wonderful old 1950s original shack that is a cottage.
Oh, I
But
heard it
it's-
here.
It's a family cottage, but it's also not like a cottage like you would see now, where people are like, "Oh, this is my cottage," and it's a huge mansion. No, it's like it doesn't have doors.
I think what you think are my
Actually doesn't have
expectations are very different than what my expectations were. I grew up in a place that had no sink that had running water in the kitchen, and we had to dig the dry well, and I had to crawl under the cabin and insulate it in the wintertime
Did you have to walk uphill both ways to get to the beach?
in the snow. For God's sake! I get that it's an easy drinking beer, but
It's an excellent drinking beer.
it's a really good beer. I like
This is a very nice drinking beer.
Yeah, I got to come back to this one again.
Yeah, I have not had this one.
I guess I could catch up.
No, you can't. It's a gold medal winner. Did you know that? There's a gold medal on here.
It's not a blue ribbon.
It's not. It's a gold medal. And it's not a ribbon. It's not a gold ribbon.
So who did they win it from?
It doesn't say. Anyways, the Roman Candle's an IPA, 6.8% alcohol, ABV. So a stronger IPA.
Oh, look at that. It's translucent. It might even be opaque. No, it's translucent. Okay, that pours yellow. That looks like lemonade. That's a nice color. You see that?
Lots of fruit, tangerines, mandarins.
So much hop on the nose.
Lots of hops.
So much hop on there.
Yeah, but lots of that pith and fruit smell that I just love.
How interesting. As I drink it, or as it fills the mouth, it kind of hits every corner of it with a different flavor. Like right at the tip, I've got the tingle of the sour, and way at the back there, I've got that hoppy, savory, and there's a lot of good flavor in there.
Yeah, I find that just a lot of different orange type fruits. So grapefruit, orange, mandarins, all that stuff
You mean
is in
citrus?
there. Orange type fruits.
Oh, orange type fruits. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange type fruit.
Beer.
I really like this beer.
6.8% is a lot, but it doesn't taste like that. It doesn't
No.
have that alcohol-y flavor in it.
No.
I like the can art because it's
Yes.
got all these explosions all over it, and it's got little stars. And
Yes.
actually, it'd be
Next.
easier if I just show you that.
They call it cart. Can art. Canard.
No, a canard is a different thing.
Canard.
It's a French duck.
Is that a duck?
Yeah, French duck.
Is that one that goes quack quack quack? Honk, 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 quack quack.
So I got a joke about a duck. You ever heard it?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you the joke, and we're going
Oh, I
to
thought
film
that
it.
was
That's
what
the
we're
end. And it's
Well,
lovely
that's a
plumage.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is. That's
My
a good-
second favorite joke.
Is it? What's your first one?
Well, the first one has a lot to do with regional humor. And if you don't know who Jean Chrétien was, then you wouldn't get the joke.
So usually we do 3 beers, or trois, as the French say. But for Canada Day, we're going to do an extra shot.
We are going to do an extra shot.
An extra
I'm
shot.
not looking forward to this one. at
This
all.
one is not just going to be a normal shot. This one is going to be a cold shot.
Molson Canadian cold shots.
Molson Canadian cold shot. Little tiny cans, 236 mils, 6% alcohol. It says that it is a smaller more compact beer. The idea is to shoot them before you go to the bar. Is that right?
Yeah, and I don't approve of pre-drink.
I don't either, but enjoy responsibly.
So this looks exactly the same as Molson Canadian. I don't get as much of the bug repellent smell.
I don't get as much of the banana flavor.
Yeah. And in fact, there's not a lot of carbonation in this compared to the previous one. Plenty of head on there, but not much carbonation at all.
That's a little bit stronger flavor than the regular Molson Canadian. And flavor, I mean maltiness.
It's a little sweet.
It's actually, I was just going to say, it's more sweet.
Yeah.
That it's like a sweet banana.
And at 6%, I think the plan is we're going to give you a beer that's a little higher in alcohol, give you a smaller package.
No.
For the sake of not intoxicating you. This is merely fine. This is not a good beer. This is not a bad beer. This is beer.
I would only buy this because it's Canada Day.
I
And
think
then
that's
I
probably
didn't even buy it.
Yeah, I bought it.
Hashtag sucker.
Well, having not had Molson Canadian or Molson Canadian cold shots, I figured, let's give it a go. This is not good beer. What's the point in drinking this stuff?
You're right. This is very flat.
Yeah.
Like really flat. Like this is not good.
This is not good at all.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yes. Wow. Thank you for watching the Rural Juror Brewery Tour.
Well said.
Thank you.
I'm Jay,
I'm Seth.
and join us next time when we try a whole bunch of new beers. See you then.
Have a good one. Happy Canada Day. Yeah, they said that I play a good straight man to your
So I'm the goofball.
intellectual goofball.
I'm an intellectual goofball. What the hell is that?
That's you.
Can't define a word using the word, so can't define intellectual goofball by saying it's me if I don't understand.
Just because you
Is that intellectual goofballery?
That's it.
All right.
That's actually it. If the cyclical nature of what you just said is why.
That's reflexive.
And reflective.
No, reflective would mean it bounces back. Reflexive means you're
No, it should have bounced back to you.
going flip.
It should have.